All right, all right. Greetings to each and every last one of you. This is Pastor Dow, and I hope that you are learning something and that some way, somehow, we're stimulating thought as we go through this series, Living Through the Collapse of First-Hand Account, and we're on part number 3. We're going to pick up with number 10, and then it's going to go off into a little bit more here in this article, and we hope that some way, somehow, that we're doing our part to help you to be informed as we go forward. Let's go ahead and get started with number 10 right here for a second. How was the situation with toilets? We used shovels and a patch of earth near the house. Does it seem dirty? It was. We washed with rainwater or in the river, but for the most of the time, the latter was too dangerous. We had no toilet paper, and if we had any, I would have traded it away. It was a dirty business. Let me give you a piece of advice. You need guns and ammo first, and second, everything else, literally everything. All depends on the space and the money you have. Did you hear what I said? You need guns and ammo first. Number one priority, number one. Guns, ammo first. You need this first. Guns, ammo first. Everything else is secondary. All right. If you forget something, there will always be someone to trade with for you or with you for it. But if you forget weapons and ammo, there will be no access to trading for you. I don't think big families are extra miles. Big families means both more guns and strength. And from there, everyone prepares his own. Number 11, how did people treat the sick and the injured? Most injuries were from gunfire. Without a specialist and without equipment, if an injured man found a doctor somewhere, he had about a 30% chance of survival. It ain't the movie. People died. Many died from infections, from superficial wounds. I had antibiotics for 3 to 4 uses for the family, of course. People died foolishly, quite simply, and quite often. Simple diarrhea will kill you in a few days without medicine. Ain't that the truth? With limited amounts of water. There were many skin diseases and food poisonings. Nothing to it. Man, I tell you, if anything, what it does is actually stimulate thought and help you to really truly start thinking about the things that's important, because I personally don't trust my neighbor. I don't trust none of my neighbors up here. And I damn sure don't trust this town I live in. They have already made known to me who they are. And I'm so glad that they did, because that way I know who my enemies are. And I don't have to worry about trying to assume that somebody's my friend when they are my enemy. All of them have made themselves known with the exception of one family in this town. And I'm not talking about the saints that move around, all exception of one sound true family. And myself and Straightway will defend that family with our lives if necessary. Let's go on. Many use local plants, pure alcohol, enough for short term, but useless in the long term. Hygiene is very important, as well as having as much medicine as possible, especially antibiotics. You know, I remember some time ago I told every home, I want you to store 50 gallons of water in your home. Good, clean water, 50 gallons. You know what most people did? Laughed at me, mocked at me, jeered me, and just unbelievable, unbelievable. You know, I know a wise man, especially his wisdom is despised. But I also understand, and I know this. I know that the day is going to come that a lot of the words that I have said is going to be rehearsed in your conscience and your ears. And you're actually going to take heed, but then it's going to be a little bit too late. So let's go ahead and move on here. 35 excuses that will doom the non-prepper. As of today, it is only an estimate that 1% of the population actually goes to much of any effort to prepare and store up enough of what they need to survive a true calamity. This means a huge majority of the population fails, yes, fails, to have much of anything if and when what they need each day to live evaporates quickly. Most people have no clue what life will be like after the grocery store closes. They simply cannot grasp the horrors That will befall those people that have not put away for tomorrow or prepared contingencies for life-threatening emergencies. Instead of taking some time and effort, the money to safeguard themselves and their families, they have a wide array of reasons, excuses, for why prepping is crazy and not at all necessary. There exists a magnitude of what are called true civilizations altering or world as we know it, and it ends events that could happen. Many have already occurred throughout history, as well as within just a decade. The fact is, excuse me, I'm having a little bit of trouble reading this because I'm trying to meditate on this, because I didn't read his article before I present it to you, but I like meditating on things as I read, and I simply can't do that. I need to present the information myself and then go back and look at the video again, which I'm going to do anyway. It's only a matter of time before these catastrophes happens again. People who choose to not prepare for their families will be faced with life and death situations that few have ever experienced before. Without water, people would die within a few days. Without food, people would die within a few weeks. Without everyday necessities, people would die in hordes from varying ailments and diseases. Without what they are accustomed to on a daily basis, people will suffer and most will die. This absolutely does not have to happen in such a high percentage of the population, but sadly it will, unless more people understand there is no real excuse for not prepping. The following are 35 of the most common excuses and causes cited by 99% of the population who don't prepare. Number one, oh, come on. It is never going to happen. My area is safe. I am safe. Fact or answer? The overall odds increase of having a mega or even a lesser catastrophe as the population grows and the city grows in size. Just like increasing the size of a target, it is easier and more likely to get hit. Even if your area doesn't get hit, your location can be cut off from getting vital supplies from areas that did get hit. Every single spot on the planet is a target, from natural disasters to terrorism to war to pandemics to a black swan event that no one expects. No one is invulnerable anywhere, and living this way is delusional and totally unrealistic. Number two, I'm convinced that everything is recoverable and my area will get back to normal quickly. Fact or answer? The media and the government have long ingrained into the people's minds that no matter what happens, it is repairable. Fortunately, up until now, there has not been a type of event that is so severe and widespread that recovery is very long or requires massive cleanup involving millions of people or trillions of dollars. There are potential disasters that occur on a regular time frame that could easily be ranked as hundreds of times worse than anything we've ever seen in our lifetimes. The New Madrid fault zone and the San Andreas faults are a couple of examples. A solar-induced or super EMP, that's an electromagnetic pulse, which occurred in 1812, 1857, and 1859 is another. Fukushima is a recent example of how bad things can get in almost a matter of 24 hours. Number three, no matter how horrible it is, help will eventually come. I just have to wait it out. Fact or answer? Help can come if there are people and resources available. All of the recent disasters have been fairly isolated and allowed the majority of the unaffected population to come and rescue those in need. What happens when the entire country is infected and most of the world? Assuming that your government or someone will reach you in the area with help and supplies, no matter what is dangerous, the government is going to spread help to those areas of the highest priority first. And that's what I mean, the president, his cabinet, the Congress members, the CIA, the FBI, and all those who have these resources and gobble them up for themselves like Homeland Security and everybody else. Not you, the populace. They don't care nothing about you. Your area will be weeks. Your area could be weeks or months away from help, and you could be long dead before help and supplies arrive. All right. There we are right there. Well, we're going to finish with this segment right here, and then we're going to return to you back here in a little bit, providing that you continue on listening and you enjoy this particular series right here. I do think this is something that you actually need to let your loved ones and everybody listen to. I mean, after all, it's just information. It's something to consider. Some of us take it to heart. Some of us act like, okay, we hear it, and we're very inactive, not proactive. And I will tell you this. I'll give you this piece of advice before I end this video. Here at the assembly where I pastor at, we are very careful who we allow to come and become a part of us. At first, when we started, we believed in the benevolence and the good heart of the man. Only come to find out that a lot of people who are so-called saved are still corrupt in nature and have no interest in doing anything about being converted or transforming their mind. These are the people right here that would actually step on you, shoot to kill you, take advantage of you whenever the time arrives. You don't need those kind of people around. You need to know them that labor among you, and you need to be sober. See you in the next video. Shalom.